Since King Charles is in Germany on his first state visit as monarch. He's in Berlin for a 3-day trip with the Queen Consort Camilla. The royals are receiving military honours at the Brandenburg Gate and will then attend a state banquet at the German president's Bellevue Palace. Well, for more on that, we're joined by Ulrich Brückner. He's a political commentator and the Jean Monnet Professor for European Studies at Stanford University in Berlin. Ulrich, this is King Charles's first state visit abroad. I remember when Queen Elizabeth was crowned, she toured the Commonwealth. So this trip for Charles is meant to be for France and then Germany, but it's starting in Germany. This is really about communicating that Europe is a priority here.
Well, I think it was a good idea to come to Germany and not to Paris, that would only produce pictures of garbage and burning barracks and turbulences, and also the meeting of someone who's criticized to be a French emperor. Meeting a British king would certainly be not what France nor Britain would like to see. In comparison with Berlin, this is a pretty stable and also calm situation, and a lot of Germans warmly welcome the visit of the king. I'm sitting here in a university 3 blocks away from the hotel and Brandenburg Gate, and it's not so much of a deal because royals are interesting for people who read tabloids, but for everyone who reads it as a political signal, it's a positive sign.
Well, King Charles obviously has some family ties to the country, and I believe he also speaks a bit of German. How's he being received? Is he as popular, perhaps, as his mother?
Well, he's certainly not as popular as his mother. And I think also the bad stories that everyone could follow if one is interested in the royal family in the last few years also didn't really boost the reputation of the king. I think generally speaking, Britain suffered a lot from Brexit and the reputation of the country, not only that they moved away from the European Union, but also that pretending that global Britain is a better solution than the European Union broke people's hearts, and they are rather distant to everything that comes from the United Kingdom.
Well, is this then a moment to try to mend some of those ties? Are Germans and German politicians open to that?
They certainly are, and I think it showed during the pandemic as well as with the ongoing war in Ukraine that standing alone and pretending that states can respond to global challenges that are far bigger than what a single country can manage, that these times are different and we should only stay united and not only pretend that the West is united, but also work on mutual understanding, and symbolic actions like visiting each other is an important step in that direction.
I see that King Charles is also, during this 3-day trip, he'll be speaking to the Bundestag. How is the British royal family regarded there? Does this still have relevance for Germans in this day and age?
I don't think they put too much importance to the symbolic actions, but I just talked to some of my colleagues and they were complaining that they didn't get a chance to get into the Bundestag to listen to it. So there is quite some attention to what's going on. But after all, he's a king and he's visiting a republic. And although we don't have a king, we very much appreciate that our president acts as something like a Republican king, Steinmeier in the castle Bellevue. And so there is a certain emotional relationship with royal families and so on. But after all, it's a Western-type democracy, and one understands that he's sent by the Prime Minister of Britain to pave the way for closer relations.
And indeed, they will be discussing those over dinner at the Bellevue Palace this evening. Ulrich Brückner there, a political commentator, speaking to us from Berlin. Always great to get your thoughts, Ulrich. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Natasha.